Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
Hello! We're about to start the actual trial for case 3. I'm excited.
Toast has been waiting for this for months.
This is my favorite case. What's the matter with the London police, I ask you? Huh? Ha! Ha ha ha!
Alright, don't pass out.
Mr. Naruhodo, perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath.
Good idea. In a Squidward-esque sound.
Yeah.
Mr. Gilded? The thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see.
Yes. God, I hate it.
So if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands.
What was I after saying, you daft idiot? Idiot?
So if you don't have a lawyer yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. I did not get to finish my line.
What did I say? What was I after saying, you daft idiot? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I?
Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering to just stand up there next to you.
Oh, I think I see what's going on here.
Sorry?
I know what you're thinking. This Chancellor of a fellow claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer of all England? Because he did it. That's the only explanation. Well?
Well... Not. I'm going to play along. Exactly. Yes, exactly.
What now?
Well, like you said, if you have all that money but don't have anyone representing you in court, there's no other logical conclusion than that you're guilty of the charges.
Well, you call a spade in the East, so you do.
Oh? I'm sorry, I didn't mean any offense. I still can't express myself very well in English, you see. And I'm never sure what's acceptable to say and what isn't, so...
Is that so? Because you sound fluent enough when you were telling me what a blackguard I must be.
I'm terribly sorry.
Wahahaha! Sounded like Wario there for a second. I can't say I blame you for thinking it, Bella.
It is a little strange, to be honest. Why you don't have a lawyer, I mean?
That would be the fault of the Reaper.
Dunqua? Sorry, did you say the Reaper?
Aye, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Barack von Zieks. He's the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper?
Okay, they're building him up. I better see a cloak and scythe.
When Von Ziek stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned.
What?
So it's reached a desperate situation, where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You could say he's the living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Barak von Zieks.
Wait, is this that guy that you were telling me about with the evidence? I'm trying not to spoil it for the viewers, but... Oh, I'm looking forward to this! Oh, okay, so Toast has told me about this trial before.
Because I didn't know he was willing to play it with me.
Oh, wow.
He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor, then. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Cursed? What on earth? The defendant is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way to the courtroom. The trial is about to begin. His counsel? That would be me.
Oh, 'tis time. Well, fella, don't let me down.
But
I don't know anything about the case. Oh, wait, that's...
I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened.
Until you showed your face here. I made up my mind, so I had.
Sorry?
I decided I'd have to defend myself in there.
How would that have worked?
But then you made your appearance. A student of law, would you know? 'Tis no accident, I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please.
I literally know nothing about this case, or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him.
Mr. Naruhado.
The man has no one. You have to stand there alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. Something that Kazuma would never have allowed to happen. Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late to the start of the trial, you'll lose your right to stand. Ellipses. Run, boy, run! I'll be right there. Boop. What's happening then? My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. Yes.
Besides from Sholmes' story at the beginning.
Fluffy. Toast is very fluffy.
I have long, thick, curly hair. 18th of February, 10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom.
Imagine like a sheep's coat. Like really long and fluffy and adorable. So soft.
I think it's probably not that good. I think it was not that good.
Point is, it is soft. So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place are palpable, isn't it? So different from the Supreme Court in Japan. It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. Oh, wait.
Oh, it feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I ask something, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, yes, what?
Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again.
I know, but I just can't help it.
I mean, I'd be fucking nervous too. He knows nothing.
He looks like a vampire. Well, got our cloak.
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is fully prepared.
Yeah,
Was that right?
that sounds about right, yeah.
Okay, so literally yesterday on a car ride to see my grandparents, we were talking about Von Ziek's voice, and we spent like half the drive just having me do like test samples of voices for him. So,
Because I don't think I can do it, and I want him to have a nice voice.
so we wanted him to be deep in tone,
But not
serious and stoic.
But not like Strongheart.
To kind of differentiate them.
Yeah.
They're pretty close, don't get me wrong, but there's a slight... Excuse me.
Like Von Ziek, I think is more as a little higher pitch than Strongheart. And I think Von Ziek is not. He's full of himself, but like not like Strongheart. But don't worry, we will get more Strongheart.
It was just the library telling me that we need to return these on Monday.
Which is the plan.
Yep.
That's really good. Wow.
Yeah, I'll probably do so before D&D tomorrow. So we actually do use the library still.
Like, it's right down the street from us, and they actually have a lot of stuff, and it's really cheap.
It's free to rent, and
to print stuff off, it's only like 10 cents a page.
first 5 are free. So if it's only like a few small documents, it's perfectly free. As such, it's actually pretty convenient for us.
Because we don't have a printer.
Yeah.
And why get a printer and spend all that money on ink when you can just go down to the library?
Where they have it all set up already.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Because printer ink cartridges are scams.
That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld.
Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English?
Huh? Oh, yes, of course, sorry. He asked if the defense was ready. And I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. He looks like I assume he is Edgeworth's ancestor, right?
Like, Come on. I mean, he's a lot like Edgeworth too. He's honestly, if on tier, prosecutor tier list, he's my second place. This man, but he can't beat Edgeworth. Honestly, I don't know how German Edgeworth is, but I know, in at least the American version, Von Karma is German.
Those eyes please me, Nepalese. So, Von Ziek is a bit more soft and sort of a sultry-ish type of voice. They shroud your fear, your doubts, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notation of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. Ugh. A cold shiver ran down my spine all the way. Tips of my toes.
Now, Mr. McGilded. Yes. Yes, my lord. You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner?
Everybody's a little bit racist sometimes. So yeah, this time around we actually got a few horror movies. Annabelle Comes Home, Evil Dead, and Phantom of the Opera.
That last one's not a horror movie, I just wanted to watch it because everybody said how great it was.
Honestly, the story was phenomenal. Though only 3 of the musical numbers would actually be considered good by my standards.
As I always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to the young. Even if fell as a student from some little island off the far east. Is it not the British way to ignore the dangers of yourself and give the less fortunate a fair chance? I'd like to think it acts like chivalry to a great British Empire proud. These are random jury members, and I don't know.
They kept auto-cycling, so I couldn't even read them fast enough.
It seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGill.
That's definitely welcoming news. And he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him.
Now with Von Ziek's across the way. Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, and most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed? Honestly, I don't think he can get an impartial jury. He donated a part to his own very active, rich member of society. I don't... he's done a lot for the community.
Actually, there were trials that had to be denied due to the fact of not being able to find a...
impartial jury?
Yeah. So, one example of this was 9/11. Some random guy was... obviously, they needed to put someone's head on a platter. So, they took some random Islamic immigrant who had nothing to do with it.
Oh.
And held him, and since it was 9/11, they couldn't find anyone that was unbiased.
Yeah.
Since everyone just wanted blood. As such, I don't actually know what happened to him, actually. I just know that he couldn't get a reasonable trial. Yes, my lord. If you ask to send Rotors to the gallows where he belongs, I'm more than ready. That's not impartial.
That the manor. His lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree.
Any criminal here will soon be wishing they never set eyes on me. I feel the chill.
Oh, don't mind me, dears. I'd just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these mittens for my grandson. Wow, Mr. Naruto, those people are.
The jury, yes. That's something we don't have in Japan yet.
That's right. I only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. Which is a lot harder to do than just getting the opinion of one person.
Didn't you say the juror system sucked?
It kind of does. Like, they sway so easy. They all sway. Like, you thought the judge sways easy? It's even worse because there's 6 people and they all do that.
Not doing for bode well.
The judge passes sentence according to the law, but the jurors determine the guilt based on common sense. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view.
But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict?
That I don't know, but I'm sure it'll become clear as the trial progresses.
Yes.
Prosecutor Von Zieks.
My lord.
It has been a number of years since we've seen you in the courtroom. I thought you renounced your fame.
I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capital. Capacity.
So what brings you back?
Reading is hard, especially if the letters look weird.
Fair enough. Is there some change in circumstances in which the court should be aware?
Ellipses. I leave that to your imagination, my lord. So the Reaper's been out of action for 5 years. Well, I think that's to our advantage. He might be needing to shake off that rust. Why did he have to choose today, of all days, to make a comeback?
It really is unlucky on his part. And Yurinu's case part. Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhara. As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return.
So, earlier we were discussing the library. You okay?
Yeah. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Yes, we need that.
So, we go to the library and mostly get movies from them, because obviously, everyone knows that issue with streaming services.
Yeah, everything's so split off because there's so many streaming services and it's not worth the money to have
all of them.
Yeah.
And the local library actually has most everything we can't access.
Yeah.
As such, it is actually rather...
still viable.
They even have some video games there.
Yeah.
Not nearly as many as our personal collection, so not viable for that, but...
It's viable for movies.
Yeah. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity. You must be the only one in here We must be the only ones in here who aren't aware. God, that's a fancy scroll. The incident took place in the late evening, 3 days past. The hour was some minutes before 10. Nope, not before, after 10. Reading is hard. The victim was a maker of building bricks, known in the community as Thrice Fired.
Amazing.
Thrice Fired. I love this game and its pun names. As Thrice Fired Mason. Sorry. Thrice?
He was very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he were fired were said to be almost indestructible.
The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time. The dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer in Scotland Yard.
Autopsy report. Thank you, Consul. I shall accept this in the photograph as evidence. Got the autopsy report. Don't worry, it will be up.
"54 and still a brickmaker, dude. You needed to retire."
And especially back then.
Dude.
I'm surprised. It's amazing he lived that long.
Honestly, yeah. He was nearing death's door anyway, gotta say. It's a shame that he didn't get to retire, though.
Yeah.
Died whilst journeying in an omnibus. Died due to internal hemorrhage resulting from the trauma. Okay. Where was it heading to? And from? That might be an important factor.
All I remember is that it was the last, run.
He's missing a button. It cut his upper aorta. Or abdominal aorta? So you actually have an aorta right, they can't see me. So you see where the knife stabbed it. Right about there, there's actually a blood vessel which runs all the blood to your organs. Down to your pelvis, it then splits off down to your femur and through your inner legs. Now that obviously is very close to the heart, and it's actually one of the wider blood vessels.
So if that knife would have went out of him, he would have died from blood loss.
Honestly, he would still be dying from internal bleeding. Because of how big it is, there's a lot of blood in that. There is no way keeping that in will stop him from dying. It'll only slow it down.
Yeah.
So... honestly, I just feel bad for the dude. there's a window there, certainly. However, it seems they're tinted and not clear. Look at the texture.
Yeah.
Now,
like
that could
those...
either be for art's sake, but in this case, that would actually be a factor to see if anyone could actually even witness anything.
Yeah, because, like, it's like the glass you have in bathrooms.
Yeah, like one of those shower glasses.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's all I wanted to look at. And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well.
Bloody gloves, and these are... Good lord! Is that blood council?
Yes, my lord. Seized by policemen who arrived at the scene. These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. Gilded gloves? They had blood on them?
That looks...
Caught red-handed.
Yeah, that looks pretty bad. Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well.
And with that, we'll call this a part. Bye.